Very good evening. Welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you all the day's big stories from India and across the world. So let us start with the bulletin. The biggest story of the day: extremely severe cyclonic storm Ampan made a landfall at Digha in West Bengal on Wednesday, leaving behind a trail of destruction that led to the death of 2 women in the state. Meanwhile, more than 5,200 houses were also damaged in North 24 Parganas district. And intense rainfall was also witnessed in several areas of Odisha like Puri, Khurda, Jagatsinghpur, Kendrapara, Cuttack, Bhadrak and Balasore. Here are all the details.
Super Cyclone Ampan made landfall with heavy rains and gale winds lashing West Bengal and Odisha on Wednesday. The extremely severe cyclonic storm Ampan made the landfall at 2:30 p.m. between Digha in West Bengal and Hatia Island in Bangladesh. IMD Chief Mrityunjay Mahapatra said the intensity of the cyclone near its center was recorded at 160 to 170 kilometers per hour, gusting to 190 kilometers per hour. IMD said the first arm of Cyclone Ampan touched land around 3:30 p.m. The width of the wall cloud was around 120 kilometers and the diameter of the eye about 40 kilometers. The Met Department said the system could move north-northeastwards after the landfall and pass close to Kolkata in its eastern side, causing extensive damage and flooding low-lying areas of the city. Wind speeds in Kolkata and adjoining Hooghly and Howrah districts are likely to range between 110 km per hour to 120 km per hour, gusting to 130 km per hour that may cause extensive damage in urban areas as well. So far, the cyclone has resulted in heavy rains in coastal Odisha and West Bengal, uprooting trees and destroying fragile structures.
बालासोर, भद्रक, केंद्रापड़ा, जगतसिंहपुर वगैरह डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में भी हैवी टू वेरी रेनफॉल पास्ट 24 आवर्स में रिकॉर्ड किया गया है. जैसे ही आज ये साइक्लोन धीरे धीरे उत्तर पूर्व दिशा में गति किया, इसका सदर्न डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स ऑफ उड़ीसा क्लियर हुआ और नॉर्दर्न डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में धीरे धीरे विंड स्पीड बढ़ा और बारिश भी. ये जो आप इमेज देख रहे हैं, ये अभी का फोरकास्ट है.
The IMD chief, however, said post-landfall the system is very likely to continue to move north-northeastwards across Gangetic, West Bengal and Bangladesh and weaken gradually. Ampan is likely to maintain the intensity of cyclonic storm till Thursday before weakening into a deep depression over Bangladesh. The cyclone is also likely to cause heavy to very heavy rainfall in Assam and Meghalaya on Thursday.
So 21 तारीख को ज़्यादा बारिश नहीं होने वाला है. कहाँ कोई एक दो जगह पर हेवी रेनफॉल हो सकता है. चलिए, सब हिमालयन वेस्ट बंगाल जैसे जलपाईगुड़ी से शुरू करके वेस्ट असम तक जो एरिया है, वहाँ हम हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल उम्मीद कर रहे हैं. आज रात से शुरू हो सकता है और 21 तारीख को ज़्यादा बारिश वो एरिया में होगा, क्योंकि ये जो ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन है वो धीरे धीरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट गति करते हुए कल सुबह बांग्लादेश में एक साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म होते हुए पहुंचेगा और वेस्ट असम में एक डिप्रेशन या लो प्रेशर एरिया होकर पहुंचेगा और इसकी वजह से वहां अच्छा बारिश होने का उम्मीद किया जा रहा है.
The National Disaster Response Force deployed 20 teams in Odisha and 19 in West Bengal to deal with the emergency situation arising out of the super cyclone. 24 teams are ready for airlifting. Ahead of the cyclone, over 5 lakh people were evacuated in West Bengal and 1,58,640 people in Odisha. Coronavirus and social distancing measures had made mass evacuations more difficult for authorities.
लगी हुई हैं और 2 टीमें स्टैंड बाय में है. 2 में से और एक टीम कलकत्ता में बुलाया गया है, क्योंकि कलकत्ता जो नगरीय क्षेत्र है, जो अर्बन एरिया है, उसमें उनको लगाया गया है. सभी टीमों के पास सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन और QDA है, सो हम लोग किसी कम्युनिकेशन सेटअप पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं है. वी आर इंडिपेंडेंट, सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट एंड वी सेट अप आवर ओन कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम. साइक्लोन फोनी के जो तजुर्बे हुए थे उसके आधार पर हमारे पास एक्स्ट्रा ट्री कटर्स हैं, पोल कटर्स हैं, ऑलरेडी इस्तेमाल में लगने लगे हैं.
Meanwhile, all operations at the Kolkata airport were suspended till 5 a.m. on Thursday, including special flights for the COVID-19 pandemic. The governments of West Bengal and Odisha have distributed lakhs of masks among the evacuees and PPEs to SDRF personnel deployed in vulnerable areas. Indian Navy is also on high alert for relief efforts.
As Super Cyclone Ampan made landfall, decisive policy interventions, institutional structures and response mechanisms helped India mitigate the losses. Speaking exclusively to Rajya Sabha television, NDRF Chief S.N. Pradhan said that the aim is not only to handle the disaster once it happens, but also prevent it and minimize the effects afterwards. Take a look at this report.
In an exclusive conversation with Rajya Sabha TV, Director General of the National Disaster Response Force S.N. Pradhan said that India is prepared for handling disasters of any kind. He said that disaster response training is being synergized at all levels in the best interest of the country and the states.
The government of India as well as the state governments have come on the same page in terms of disasters. They have realized that disasters don't know borders, and if you think in terms of central government versus state government or vice versa, it's not going to work because disasters have no borders. Even international borders are not sacrosanct for disasters. It can happen in multiple countries. It can happen in multiple states in a national context. So it is very essential that the nation as a whole cooperates and backs up, and especially the federal government and the state governments involved, they synergize. And I think that synergy is very much evident. It was evident in Cyclone Foni. It is evident now. And there's a lot of course, discussions also. There are a lot of forums. It was, I would call it a red letter day in terms of disaster response, the 18th of May, which was yesterday, when the Prime Minister himself reviewed in the capacity of the chairperson of the National Disaster Management Authority. The Home Minister reviewed the situation, and the Cabinet Secretary held the National Crisis Management Committee meeting. So all the three important platforms at the highest level were activated for a single event which is coming up.
Pradhan also said that technological tools have acted as force multiplier. All the teams have wireless and satellite communication systems. The Disaster Response Force has initiated collaborative research with the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research and the Defence Research and Development Organization for Technology and Allied Assistance.
Have what is called the quick deployment antenna, and when everything is, all connectivity is lost in a district or in an area, cyclone affected area, we set up our own communication, which is a closed loop channel, and I can even video converse with my people on ground live. I can do WhatsApp calls, because it's our own closed loop system. So that way NDRF is, I would say, well prepared for any communication breakdown. But as far as the district administration is concerned, I think the district police has wireless sets, and now many of the district police establishments have realized that the wireless sets, if the antennae are removed well in time, then they can be set up immediately after the cyclone, and the wireless the VHF can start be up and running.
The NDRF chief also said that with monsoon around the corner, the National Disaster Response Force is preparing to face the twin challenges of COVID-19 and floods. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
India reported the biggest single-day jump in the number of COVID-19 patients on Wednesday. 5,611 new cases in the last 24 hours took total COVID-19 infections to 1,06,750, including 3,303 deaths. 140 people died due to the disease in the last 24 hours. With over 42,000 people cured, India's recovery rate is an all-time high of 39.62%. Total active cases stand at 61,149. The number of coronavirus disease cases has doubled in nearly 2 weeks. Since May 7th, India reported more than 3,200 new COVID-19 cases on average daily. More than 5,000 new cases daily of novel coronavirus infections have been reported in the country since Sunday. However, despite a spike in daily cases, the recoveries have also steadily improved. From under 10% in early April, the rate has now jumped to almost 40%. Further, India has 7.9 coronavirus cases per 1 lakh people so far, as against 60 globally. India has about 0.2 deaths per lakh population compared to 4.1 deaths per lakh population for the world. In recent days, testing has also been ramped up. Over 1,08,000 samples have been tested for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far is 25 lakh.
सेकेंड लॉकडाउन जब हमारा शुरू हुआ तो 11.42% के करीब था, धीरे धीरे बढ़ते हुए वह 26.59% हुआ और आज हम पाते हैं कि अराउंड 39.62%, यानी कि अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 40% लोग जो कि कोविड पॉजिटिव पाए गए वह रिकवर हो चुके हैं. इसके हैं करीब 61,000 केसेस, उसमें से भी केवल ऑक्सीजन सपोर्ट 2.94% केसेस को उसकी ज़रूरत है. वो ऑक्सीजन सपोर्टेड बेड्स में अपना ट्रीटमेंट ले रहे हैं. करीब 3% केसेस आईसीयू रिलेटेड सपोर्ट है और उसके साथ ही करीब 0.45% केसेस वेंटिलेटर पर हैं. यह डेटा हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए है क्योंकि इसके तहत हमें पता लगता है कि अर्ली आइडेंटिफिकेशन पर फोकस होने की वजह से, सर्विलेंस पर फोकस होने की वजह से हम टाइमली आइडेंटिफिकेशन जो केसेस का कर पाते हैं, उससे हमारे देश में केसेस सीरियस केसेस में ना कन्वर्ट होते हुए हम रिलेटिवली अराउंड 6.39% ही ऐसी सिचुएशन पाते हैं कि जिसमें केसेस रिलेटिवली उनको एक हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट की जरूरत है.
Update on the coronavirus situation across the various states of the country now. And the COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra reached a high of 37,000 today. The state confirmed 2,078 coronavirus cases, a rise of over 2,000 for the third consecutive day. The fatalities due to the coronavirus infection have crossed 1,300 in Maharashtra. Over 12,000 people are infected with the virus in Tamil Nadu, with over 650 new cases reported on Tuesday. Gujarat recorded 399 fresh COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, bringing the coronavirus tally to 12,140. The death toll in the state reached 719 as 25 deaths had been reported on Tuesday. The number of COVID-19 cases in Delhi crossed 11,000 with 534 more people testing positive in the past 24 hours. 176 people have died. Large-scale movement of people in the fourth phase of the lockdown has led to the spread of the disease in new populations. States like Bihar and Odisha, which are receiving large number of workers returning from other states, have seen a sharp rise in cases in recent days. Uttar Pradesh too is witnessing an increase in cases among migrant workers. 50 migrants who have returned home were found infected with coronavirus in UP's Basti district, 190 kilometers from the state capital Lucknow. The state now has 4,926 COVID-19 cases. The Telangana government has restricted travel from 3 states due to the spike in the number of coronavirus cases. The government has directed officials not to allow people coming to the state from Gujarat, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. The state has reported 1,634 cases so far. Bihar registered 60 more COVID-19 positive cases on Tuesday, taking the total number of cases in the state to 1,579. 754 migrants have tested positive since 3rd of May. A majority of the positive patients have come from Delhi, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Odisha registered 74 new COVID-19 positive cases, taking the total number of cases in the state to 1,052. 72 of the new cases were detected in quarantine centers set up for returnees. Meanwhile, Indore in Madhya Pradesh continues to remain one of the hotspots in the country. The number of COVID-19 cases in the district rose to 2,715 after 78 more people tested positive for the disease in the last 24 hours. And Mumbai's Dharavi area saw a dip in cases yesterday with only 26 new cases reported. Dharavi had reported a spike of 85 COVID-19 cases on Monday. The area has been reporting around 50 cases every day since 14th of May. The number of cases there now is 1,353, while 56 deaths have been reported so far.
Alongside the rising number of cases, the number of recoveries across India has also been going up steadily. Nearly 40% of the total coronavirus patients have been cured so far. Kerala has one of the best recovery rates in India. Out of 642 patients, 497 have recovered, with just 4 deaths so far.
On to some other news. In a meeting headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Union Cabinet took some key decisions, including relief for migrants, MSMEs, and other sectors.
The Union Cabinet gave its approval to Atmanirbhar Bharat package for the allocation of food grains to 8 crore migrants. Through the allocation, the migrants will get 5 kilograms of food grains every month for the months of May and June. The total subsidy from the centre is estimated at 3,109.52 crore rupees. The Cabinet also approved the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme. This provides an additional funding of up to 3 lakh crore rupees to MSMEs and interested Mudra borrowers. The Cabinet also gave its nod to the Finance Minister's proposal to launch a new special liquidity scheme for non-banking financial companies and housing finance companies. The Cabinet approved Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, a scheme to bring about blue revolution through sustainable and responsible development of the fisheries sector in India. A new centrally sponsored scheme for formalization of micro food processing enterprises will be launched on an all-India basis with an outlay of 10,000 crore rupees. Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana has been extended up to 31st of March 2023. This is to enable old age income security and welfare of senior citizens. The Cabinet has also approved modifications in the existing partial credit guarantee scheme.
And in some other news, the number of people who have benefited from the Ayushman Bharat scheme have crossed 1 crore.
Announcing this on Wednesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Twitter that the initiative has had a positive impact on several lives. He also appreciated the efforts of doctors, nurses and other healthcare personnel in ensuring that the scheme helped the poor and the downtrodden. The Prime Minister added that one of the biggest benefits of the scheme is portability, as the beneficiaries can get top quality and affordable medical care not only where they are registered but also in other parts of India. The Prime Minister also shared the audio clip of his conversation with the 1 croreth beneficiary of the health scheme. The beneficiary, Pooja Thapa, is the wife of a soldier and underwent a surgery in Shillong under the Ayushman Bharat facility.
नमस्ते जी।
नमस्ते सर।
कौन बोल रहे हैं?
जी मैं पूजा थापा बोल रही हूँ सर।
पूजा जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर।
मैंने सुना कि आपकी तबीयत बहुत खराब हो गई।
जी सर, मैं हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हूँ।
हाँ।
ऑपरेशन हुआ कल सर।
हाँ।
स्टोन का ऑपरेशन हुआ कल, यूरिन पाइप में स्टोन था सर।
हाँ।
कोई ऑपरेशन किया है सर।
आप करते क्या है पूजा जी?
मैं तो हाउस वाइफ हूँ।
और क्या करते हैं परिवार के लोग?
जी मेरा हस्बैंड आर्मी में है सर।
आर्मी में है? हाँ।
जी सर।
तो ये बीमारी का पता चला तो वहीं लोकल डॉक्टरों ने क्या कहा फिर आपको?
सर ऑपरेशन करने को कहा था सर।
आप मेघालय में रहते हैं?
जी मेघालय शिलोंग में सर। उमसिनी में रहती हूँ बस्ती में। यहाँ आज ट्रीटमेंट के लिए आई हूँ सर शिलोंग में।
हाँ।
हॉस्पिटल नजरत हॉस्पिटल।
हाँ।
यहीं पे हुआ है मेरा ऑपरेशन।
हाँ।
जी सर।
आपको आयुष्मान भारत योजना से ऑपरेशन हुआ तो इसका पहले पता था कुछ आपको कि भाई ऐसी एक व्यवस्था है, सरकार की तरफ से मदद मिलती है, कुछ पता था आपको?
जी सर, और ये कार्ड यहाँ सबमिट कर दिया है मैंने नीचे ऑफिस में। और अभी तो ऑपरेशन भी हुआ है सर, अच्छा ही हुआ ऑपरेशन भी। और मैं अभी तो अच्छा ही हूँ सर।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana Ayushman Bharat scheme in September 2018. It is the biggest government-sponsored healthcare scheme in the world.
And in a major announcement, Union Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said that domestic passenger flight operations will commence from Monday, 25th of May, in a calibrated manner.
The Ministry of Civil Aviation will share standard operating procedures with all airports and airlines. He also said that all airports and air carriers are being informed about the same. Flight operations were stopped in late March when the country went into lockdown to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus. However, cargo flights, those for medical evacuation and special flights to repatriate Indians stranded abroad have been operating during the lockdown.
Well, I'm very happy that we finally have announced the decision that flights will commence from Monday the 25th of May in a calibrated manner, and that these flights will go to all parts of the country. Initially, only a small percentage of the total number of flights, but depends on the kind of experience we gain, we will increase the number of flights. I want to tell your viewers, through you, that we have taken all views into account, so that it is practical. You should not make the SOPs so onerous that they are not followed, or that it's difficult to follow them. And I think we've reached a happy balance. And when those SOPs are announced, I am hoping very soon, everybody will understand them, and that those will be the norm for some time.
And now an update on the biggest repatriation exercise undertaken by the Government of India, the Vande Parit Mission. And on day 5 of the phase 2 of the Vande Parit Mission, the first Air India special flight from Nepal brought back 165 Indians on Wednesday.
Medical screening of all the passengers was done at the Kathmandu airport, and only asymptomatic people were allowed to board the aircraft. The Indian passengers included students, old age people, medical emergency cases, women and infants. Most of the passengers are from Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Punjab. 20 special Air India flights are slated to reach on Wednesday. These include a flight from London carrying Indian nationals that arrived in Kochi on Wednesday morning. 2 flights returned from Doha to Visakhapatnam and Hyderabad, while another returned from Riyadh to Kannur. 1 flight reached India from Dammam to Bengaluru, while another one came from Dubai to Kochi. A flight from Kuwait brought 177 Indians to Thiruvananthapuram, while 2 flights from Oman brought back around 354 Indian nationals to Bengaluru and Kozhikode. Also, an Air India flight came from Riyadh with 152 passengers to Kannur. As part of the Vande Bharat mission, INS Jalashwa will sail from Colombo port in Sri Lanka, carrying around 700 Indian nationals to Tuticorin on the 1st of June. This will be the first voyage of a ship from Sri Lanka as part of Operation Samudra Setu. There are around 1,200 Indian nationals registered with the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka for evacuation. Earlier, 3 ships evacuated around 1,500 people from neighbouring Maldives.
Meanwhile, the Indian Railways has transported more than 23.5 lakh passengers to their home states on board the Shramik special trains in the last 20 days.
Subsequent to the Home Ministry's direction, Indian Railways had decided to operate Shramik special trains from the 1st of this month. The Ministry of Railways in a statement said that so far a total of 1,773 Shramik special trains have been operationalized from various states across the country. On Monday, a total of 205 such trains, the highest so far in a single day, were operationalized with over 2.5 lakh passengers. Proper screening of passengers is ensured before boarding the train. During the journey, passengers are given free meals and water. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal has said that the railways will run 200 non-AC trains daily starting June 1st. In a series of tweets, the Railway Minister also said that online booking will start soon. These trains will be run in addition to the Shramik special trains.
Moving on, the government has decided to grant exemption from lockdown measures to conduct the board examinations for classes 10th and 12th.
In a Twitter message, Home Minister Amit Shah informed on Wednesday that the decision was made taking into consideration the academic interest of a large number of students. The exemption to conduct examinations has been made with few conditions like social distancing, face masks, etc. No examination center will, however, be allowed in the containment zone. Students, teachers and staff members will have to wear face masks. Further, there shall be provision of thermal screening and sanitizer at the centers, and social distancing has to be followed at all centers. Special buses may be arranged by the states and union territories for transportation of students to the exam centers. All states have been informed about the government's decision.
And now the global update. Some more countries have joined in lifting COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. Meanwhile, people in other countries are getting used to the new normal of hygiene measures and social distancing.
Museums in Belgium were thrown open to public with mandatory social distancing and face masks on Tuesday. The country is gradually allowing shops to reopen and indoor gatherings of up to 4 people to take place since last week. More relaxations are due this week, including reopening of more museums and zoos. Italy is speeding towards economic recovery with shops, restaurants, bars, beauty salons, museums and beachfront operators made functional with new rules. On Tuesday, canals in Venice were flooded with golden lights as the gondoliers and water taxis returned to work. France also relaxed its restrictions. Beaches reopened in low-risk areas, allowing fishing and surfing, needless to say, with all the requisite social distancing rules. In Britain, construction and industries resumed work, while most of the retail outlets remained closed. Spain made face masks mandatory in public spaces where people cannot maintain distance to contain the spread of virus. In Switzerland, a public transport company is distributing masks as part of awareness campaign in view of the pandemic. South Korea's high schools opened for the first time this year on Wednesday. Students and teachers have to wear face masks except at meal times. Temperature checks and hand sanitization are mandatory at the entrance of the school. Starting with high school seniors, schools will reopen in stages between the 20th of May and the 1st of June for all other students. Japan's restaurants and bars have started a unique trial with spray machines to disinfect customers at the entrance. Social distancing and temperature checks are also in place to ensure safe dining for the public. American states are also taking gradual steps to reopen societies and economies despite surge in infections. Malls and shopping streets have become operational across Indonesia. Meanwhile, globally, COVID-19 deaths have gone past 3.2 lakh. Over 5 million cases have been reported.
And that is it from me in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Good night and take care.